Hi, welcome back. Back in the closet that I put the flooring down in last week, and we're going to trim it out this week. Basically, you just need to put a lot of baseboard in, but before you do baseboarding, you should always trim out the doors. So that's what we're going to do first. I like to start by marking the reveals. Most reveals vary somewhere between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 inch back from the opening. I just go right for the middle of that, 3/16. Looks like we need to be about 72 13/16 to the inside of this corner. When you're framing out a doorway, make sure the outside of your molding is always the longer edge. I'm going to go ahead and cut the miter edge, and then I'll measure off the inside down to the bottom to make the square cut at the bottom of the door. If you don't have an extra set of hands, clamping the tape measure onto it can't help. And now we'll just tack it into place with some 2-inch finish nails. My favorite way to measure the top piece of molding for a door or window is to flip the molding upside down, line one edge up, and then just make a mark at the other end. That is where we need to make a cut. Always be on the lookout for mistakes. I marked the miter the wrong way on this end, but when I put it back up here I noticed. So luckily I did it before cutting. Now if only there was a way to cut this without going back downstairs to the shop. Maybe. Ha! It worked! Alright. Power of positive thinking does wonders. Now we'll just tack this into place. That wraps up the door molding. Now we can head on to the baseboard. For this upper shelf, I'm going to put baseboard across the back and up these two sides. Since it's not going to run into a corner here, I'm going to do what's called a return on the front. Then the back, I'm going to take the easy way out and just do mitered corners. Let me show you what I mean by doing that return on both sides. The first step of creating that return is to simply put a miter on the end and then put the opposite miter on the other end of another board. Now we just want to cut that tiny little piece off. We'll glue it into place and hold it with some painter's tape. And that's what it'll look like when it's done. I let those returns dry for a while, and then I cut these 3 pieces to length. Let's see how they fit in. Those are joints that I can definitely be happy with. Let's nail them in. To give the nail the most to bite into, try locating your studs. Here's a handy little one I got with a TV mount. There ought to be something right in this area. That bit into something. Well, that does it for this level. On the level beneath, it's all inside corners and it'll take 5 pieces. I'm not going to show much of that, but there are a couple little pieces, and I'll show you what I'm going to do about those. They're too small to put a nail into. So right here I have a piece about 1.25 inches long that I intended to glue this joint. But when I put it in for a test fit, there was absolutely no way I was getting it back out. Same thing is true over on this side. Well, that does it for this week. I know it probably wasn't the most interesting project, but I needed to get it done. If you enjoyed this video, like and comment down below. If you want to see more, subscribe. Until next time, I'm Kalen Kennedy. Have a great weekend, and get out there and make some sawdust. Sorry, no funnies this week. Nothing really came to mind, but I do have some words of wisdom. My grandfather said, "Trim isn't so it is perfect, but just so that it looks perfect." And that's going to be even more true after I come back through with the caulking.